First of all, let me tell you something. Lamont is just full of
Sometimes my mama said, you know, when you don't have nothing nice to say, you should be quiet.
People say that Stephen A. is a coon. You agree with that? Everybody got quiet on that one? Okay, Lamont, go ahead.
Rudy Giuliani practices voodoo. So he put a voodoo hex on my girl, Hillary, and that's why she got woozy. And the Secret Service had to prop her up and put her in the van.
Spudd, take us to a break, my dude.
It was voodoo, son.
I don't know about that voodoo.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, welcome. This is Three Black Guys with a Mic.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Three Black Guys with a Mic.
What's happening?
What is really happening in these streets? I'm back in my office, not on the Vegas Strip, and I am glad to be back joining you guys for another episode. As you can see, I'm scraggly still because I just got off the red eye this morning and hit the ground running.
Mr. Hayes, what's happening with you, big
money back, yo?
Big
Vegas is expensive, B. It's
I don't know. You know, it takes me a minute to get it together. Yeah, we got to talk about this Vegas thing, Playboy, because you was in them streets for how long?
12 days. We went to Napa first, and then we flew from Napa to Vegas.
Yo, I forgot to ask you about that. So let's talk about that for a second. Give me a minute, Maynard. Let me just get some cleanup because we ain't caught up with our guy. We was, out of pocket last week or whatever. I don't know. But, so is Napa open? Because one of the biggest, flyest places that I've ever been, I think, burned down, which was Calistoga Ranch. So, did you guys do the winery game? What did y'all do?
Yeah, we went to Robert Mondavi. We went to Silver Oaks. We went to Mom's Napa. We went to a couple of them. But the only problem with them now is that you have to have a reservation. You just can't walk in. Which, like Mom's, we were able to, go and walk in because they had a little place. And same way with Robert Mondavi, you couldn't go through the tasting, but you could actually go and just buy a glass of wine, which is better for me. I'm not trying to spend no 2 hours drinking no grapes, man. It ain't that deep.
No, Napa, that's probably, I see some fly stuff, but, I got a story real quick. Just hold on, Maynard. I know we got to catch up, but, I'm a professional plus one. You know what I'm saying? My wife, she gets busy. So we was at this place, Calistoga Ranch, and it was me and my man, Barry Waldman. We was we were the husbands. We was trying to find something to do, and they had all these cars in front of the thing. It was like a Porsche and these fancy Mercedes. It was all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, these are rental cars. So I go to the front desk and say, yo, how does this work? I want to rent the car. Me and my man, we want to go, And my man told me at the front desk, they come with the room. Just take anyone you want. The keys are in them. I said, that's how this work out here? And I seen stuff at Napa, bro. We went to Scream. I think it was Screaming Eagle. You know about that, all right? Yeah, we went up. We had a private thing up there. I said, OMG. Even though, again, I'm not the wine guy, but that Napa is a go. So y'all went. You've had to fly to San Fran, right? Or you flew to?
Yeah, we flew to San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then to Vegas. I mean, was it people everywhere?
Vegas is no COVID in Vegas.
It's all open. It's all the way open. It's all the way open.
It's over. It doesn't even exist. It never even existed in Vegas.
It's all the way open.
It's 100%. All day, every day. It's
They got the cure in the drinks.
Yeah. The
No
cure is in the
mask,
drinks.
no nothing?
No. Maybe 1% mask.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's on a high number. A couple of times, we walked out. I started walking out of the hotel without a mask. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm vaccinated, but I'm like, yo, wait a minute. I'm just out here willy-nilly. I'm just doing things everybody else is doing.
So Maynard, here's what I'm confused about, and then we can get started. So are we in love with Fauci this week? Are we not? Is the Delta variant? Is it real? Moderna getting the boosters together. I mean, where we at with this?
I think, and listen, I'm just taking a wild guess. Let me start with that. I think continue to do what you think is most important for you based on the conditions that you see. You got vaccinated. That's excellent. If you go, like I went somewhere today to have some lunch, and I was like, damn, the COVID is thick. I could see the COVID in the air. I was like, I shouldn't have come. I should not have come there. And so, you know, in certain circumstances, you know, if you're putting yourself in a position where there's going to be a lot of people, you should probably mask just so you feel comfortable. You should probably continue to be washing your hands frequently. You should be, you know, avoiding people who have anything that sounds like the symptoms. Not to be crazy, right? Because that's normal, right? A little like clear your throat. But if somebody is got the...
Let me ask you a question. Are you being discriminatory on the... on like... Because you say you was in a restaurant. And you was like, oh, yo, the COVID is thick in here. Were you looking at certain people like, you know what?
I asked to be reseated. I was like, hey, yo, can
over there might be.
Can I sit over here for real though? I literally was like, yo, is it all right if I want to sit up? You can still be my waitress. I love you to be the waitress. But old boy right here is a problem.
So what did he look like, Maynard? Was he black? Was he white? Was he of other?
He was just a man, and I just felt uncomfortable. That's all.
Because I feel the same way when we were in Vegas. It was just like, you know what? There's a lot of people, and I'm sure some of these people over here and a little bit over here.
Right. Some of these people are looking. Some of these people looked a little bit suspect.
Carrier section over in this area.
So, you know, just be cautious, you know, use common sense, and that's all I can really say.
I mean, I'm curious because this tour schedule is starting to beef up a little bit, and what I'm really afraid of, it's a lot of festivals that are really going to start popping, actually start next month. I think Philly is next month. Is it Made in America, I think, right?
Yeah, 4th of July, yeah.
So, I mean, Rolling Loud going around. It's a couple West Coast festivals. And I'm just wondering, like, how are we going to be looking in 6 months? You know what I mean? I know in Michigan, you know, Big Grex just said everybody throw the mask away today. You know what I mean? So it's like...
Well, that's right. She did say that today. So the mask is out of there.
Well, again, you know, I'm on stranded status as we speak, but I'm walking through the hotel. I'm the only one got a mask on. Big black dude with a mask, and everybody is maskless. So they looking at me like I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Like you're not a part of the program.
Exactly. So I'm just trying to get the energy out here, man, because it seemed like, again, you know, everybody's not on the same page, and I'm probably going to be the only person up in the venue or the festival backstage with the mask on.
Hey, so are you going to the Philly joint?
Yeah.
It's going to be masked up. There's going to be a lot of masks going on backstage. It's going to be masked up.
Until it's not. It only takes a few. You're like, oh shit. Such and such ain't got no mask on? Taking mine off too. Next thing you know, it only takes one artist to say, everybody take your mask off.
Take your mask off. Tongue kiss somebody you don't know.
Right. It only takes one artist. And that's it. And then they jumping in the crowd. And we back to the numbers going up.
I ain't trying to really say nothing about this dude's character, but I feel like if you let Lil Jon on stage, he's definitely gonna be like, mask off, motherfucker, mask off, and everything goes.
He's one of the ones who's like, you know, because I read, because he's at Hakkasan in Vegas, and he was like, yo, we ain't playing that, you know. So I gotta give it to Lil Jon. He's like, man, I'm trying to stay as safe as possible, you know.
I love it. I'm glad I'm wrong about that then.
Lil Jon ain't, you know, he ain't 30 no more, you know. He in the 50 plus club. Ain't Lil Jon in the 50 plus club?
Yeah.
Still talking about, hey, skeet.
That was 20 years ago? Oh my God.
Well,
window to the wall, boy.
Yeah, it's Lil Jon 50 plus talking about, shaking like a salt shaker.
I remember one night at DIA, and it was some party, some big fundraiser for the museum, and there was some old shooters in there. Some women that I was just like, oh yeah, so good to see you, Mrs. So-and-so. Women that I was doing business with as a salesperson that I still was calling Mrs. So-and-so. You know what I'm saying? That level of respect. And that came on, and Mrs. So-and-so was like, hold my wig. You better ain't got that shit. And I was like, whoa.
And don't let that, doom, 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 doom.
From the 99 to the
2000, come on. It's over after that, boy. It's like, shoot. As soon as them violins hit, it's like, shoot, girl, we getting out there. Right. Well, break out the watermelon and the fried chicken and the Hennessy.
Where you going?
In the barbecue. We finally got us a federal holiday.
Juneteenth.
Juneteenth. We finally messed up and got us a federal holiday.
Now, see, this is the foolishness I'm talking about. Look at Lamont. Now he mad. Now, let me say this. A few months back, Lamont came on. He mad because the Asians got a hate bill. And I said, what's in the Asian hate bill that you think that you want for us? I don't know. I just know there was a story on TV that said they got a bill. What's in the bill, Lamont? I don't really even know. Okay. Now, we got a holiday. Now, let me just say this. There's only a handful of people who get a holiday. All the veterans, a whole bunch of dead veterans from Memorial Day, Jesus, and some presidents, and Dr. King, and them black folk. That's a special little space. You know what we do on Yom Kippur? Go to work.
We don't do nothing.
You know what your bank does on Yom Kippur?
They still open.
They open. You know what we do?
But my neighbor to the left, to the right, they own something different.
Right. Listen, that's just taking a vacation day. That's just saying I'm not going to go to work today.
Because I always was under the misunderstanding or understanding that Juneteenth always falls on a Saturday, right?
No,
it doesn't.
Well, the celebration when I was a kid, the celebration that we had was for June 19th. But that was always kind of what was talked about. Now, we didn't have a really huge understanding of it, but June 19th is the day. And now I believe that how they're going to celebrate this holiday is it's going to be the Friday closest to the 19th if the 19th is not on a weekday.
Got it. Okay.
So if June 19th...
Same date?
I'm sorry?
It always won't be the same date, is what you're saying?
I think it's
the same day.
I think
I
think we'll always have a day off.
Right.
People who go to work and work Monday through Friday, the federal government, operates Monday through Friday, will always either probably, give, based on the practice this year, I guess it's always going to be on a Friday. But most times, moving holidays or floating holidays are usually celebrated on that Monday.
So we won't be celebrating Juneteenth. We'll be in celebration of Juneteenth.
Well, we got a good friend, TIV, and, she liked to celebrate her birthday the week of, or in fact, the month of. So, I mean, once we get to June, we should just be like, yo, you can't say nothing to me. We off.
Okay. So let's back up. So we're at the chicken and watermelon.
Hennessy and barbecue.
Hennessy and barbecue, crab legs and lamb chops if you're in the Midwest. So this is the part I don't understand. And Spudd, you have on the appropriate shirt that bleeds into this, right? So 1619 is a very important date in this country. It's part of American history, right? Not just Black history, but it's part of American history. So after me having an understanding about this thing called critical race theory, that is essentially outlawed in certain states, is that not correct, Maynard?
I don't know if it's outlawed. I think that
maybe that's the wrong.
I think that there are definitely school districts and curriculums that choose not to
teach it. Okay, so what do you tell a 6-year-old that is dancing with the chicken bone in celebration of Juneteenth and say, "Well, I remember the 16th."
I pray that doesn't happen.
I'm sorry.
I pray that doesn't happen.
I mean, we can't teach the history, Maynard. So
wait a minute.
What?
We can't teach the history.
At least in school, because
look, school is supposed to give you a handful of facts. Part of it is indoctrination. They're going to try to make you a good American as much as they think they're going to try. But your parents and your grandparents and reading books that you and your family decide are important is where true learning is. Like, you are literally checking boxes to get out of school.
The kid that doesn't have that nuclear family, and or as we were just talking about this the other day, what about the kid who has the parents who may just not be aware? They don't know.
It's okay. There's somebody in your, you'd be surprised. There's somebody in your sphere. There's somebody in your sphere that knows to recognize that these parents ain't doing what they need to do, and let me just kind of talk to mom and nudge her a little bit. Hey, can you for us, when we were in high school, we had this teacher, Mr. Elsie. Mr. Elsie just decided one day, like, yo, look, y'all need to read these books. He wasn't my teacher, but he was a black teacher who knew our families, knew, the deal. And he was vested in seeing us go to college or whatever we were going to do. Y'all need to read these books. I mean, when we worked together at Radio 1, we went over to schools and I mentored kids. I took this kid under my wing. Hey, man, you need to be doing this. Let's read this book. Let's talk about this. Here's a poem that I like. I think you might like. So we just, as people, similar to what I was saying about my 15-day project or 21-day project last year, we just need to just, pick up the task and say, all right, let me just, my thing was about, colleges and giving the money to them and doing this and doing your thing, Lamont. You concerned about some people who ain't got it? Just tell them, hey, look, there's 3 books I want you to read, and just find the 3 good books that you think are important. Talk about Juneteenth to somebody.
I'm not really a big reader, Maynard, so
I just want to know, so moving forward, what do you think that the celebration is going to look like? Because to Lamont's credit, unfortunately, there are a plethora of people out there who have no idea what Juneteenth is. Okay. Kids, parents, and grandparents. Mm-hmm. Some great-grandparents. Mm-hmm. Because while it has been widespread, a lot of the places around the country did not celebrate it, mm-hmm. right? Especially like we celebrated in Kansas because it was uprooted from Texas and Mississippi and, those areas. So we kind of got, the wind of it. But a lot of places, like on the West Coast, they're like, what in the world is going on? So what is that going to look like moving forward, other than just the day off? Is it going to be, now we're going to have parades and we got to have the barbecue and the national speeches and, which is all fantastic. But what does that look like moving forward? Because I was confused this year because everybody on Friday was like, oh, shoot, we're celebrating Juneteenth. And I was like, wait, Juneteenth is tomorrow. Like, what are y'all doing? And so I was confused on, and then I was to question myself. I was like, well, wait, is Juneteenth on Friday or is it on Saturday? So I'm just curious to know what you think is going to look like moving forward. What did your president say, Maynard?
Yes. Or was he awake when he signed it?
He was barely awake because I did watch that. He was struggling. He was like, you know what, Camila? You got to go on out there and rev him up a little bit.
So,
the open act.
So I don't think that the celebration of Juneteenth has anything to do with the presidency or your federal government in any way, shape, or form. They don't tell you how to celebrate Thanksgiving or Christmas. They don't tell you how to do with Easter or any of that.
That's not true.
No, they don't.
Martin Luther King holiday, it is typically parades around the world and people are doing things. Easter, there is always an Easter egg hunt somewhere in the world.
Right. The government doesn't tell you what to do. The federal government doesn't get involved in how you celebrate Thanksgiving. They just say the day is off. That's it.
I don't, and I hear what you're saying, Maynard, but I think that there are subtle ways that we are told that you eat the turkey and the this and the that. And
I think those are traditions.
You gotta have a Thanksgiving Day parade. Right.
Right. The Thanksgiving Day parade belong to Macy's.
Yeah, but
they don't belong to the federal government.
But it's Americanized, though. And I'm not even talking
about that's fine. That's just a tradition.
From individuality, government, social, American, however. What does it look like?
Okay, so fine. I just wanted to make sure that we understood that it's not Joe's job or Kamala's job.
I'm just saying,
okay.
What is
So this is what
life for Kamala.
This is what I think it should look like.
Oakland speaking.
This is what I think it should look like. What things were occurred that created this? Well, we know that the Emancipation Proclamation was read and given and et cetera and signed into law or signed by the president Abraham Lincoln in 1863. These people don't hear for 2 years. Are there things that are vital jewels or gems that are in the Emancipation Proclamation that we should be sharing with our youth? So maybe you do that on a Juneteenth day. Are there things that we should be looking into to indulge our youth in Black people who made a way out of slavery to become great, or just to move forward in life? Should we be discussing, say, Frederick Douglass? Now, he wasn't a victim of this Juneteenth phenomenon at the time, where he was in Maryland, so he was free. He had previously been free, but he was born into slavery, and so there are people out here who say, well, I grew up in Marcy Projects, or I'm from Riverside or Brightmoor or wherever. I can't make it. But somebody who was a slave, in fact, did make it. So we need to be teaching our children that the ability to overcome circumstances that we face today, like if you can't make it with your iPhone and your FaceTime and your Snapchat, and you can't make it, we need to be.
I really loved how you took that question and went
he personalized it. It was real personal.
Is that left for you or is this right? Is this left for you? Which way? You went left. No, I get it. I just think that and I think that to your point, you're right. Right. But it's difficult to celebrate something on an individual basis, especially to me in this magnitude. Because I think that people will take it and be like, it's just another day off and not really get the historic background, to it. So you have to, I like to see organizations and, museums and, NAACP, I don't know, is Rainbow Push still around?
It is.
Oh, I mean, Sharpton and what's Sharpton's joint?
National Action Network.
Yeah. And create programs from a national perspective, so that way we are not just learning from a national perspective, but we're learning collectively and we are gathering collectively in the right way, so it doesn't turn into, which I don't think it will, I'm just being ignorant here, that it don't turn into Lamonte's chicken waving, barbecue tasting, drinking, holiday.
Well, I would say this, just so, and look, we don't know the history of a lot of things, and we don't care about the history of a lot of things. Most of us don't know the history of why Christmas is on the calendar. We might say, oh, it's because of Jesus and his birthday, and most religious scholars think that Jesus was born in March. Or Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving wasn't in September. It was in, it wasn't in November. It was in either September or October. And the president decided one day, like, we don't have no holiday in November. We should move that to November. And so that way we can get this money popping or whatever. There's going to be people who are going to definitely celebrate Juneteenth by doing nothing, taking a day
Here's
off.
what I'm afraid of, Maynard. More corporations, my opinion, correct me if I'm wrong, more corporations, no, I don't even say more. I'm just going to say corporations. Would you agree that corporations have taken Black History Month and exploited it more than what it is celebrated?
I would say this: Black History Month and King Day ain't even a thing no more. But there once was a time where it was the Toyota Black History Sell-a-thon. You want a mattress? Come on down. It's Juneteenth. Get your mattress. Sleep for less. No money down. Buy here, pay here.
Buy here, pay here.
I know. Listen.
If you already buy here, pay here, Joy, your credit ain't good.
I already know it's about to be a Juneteenth buy here, pay here, natural mattress.
Buy here, pay here.
A natural mattress discounters spot from Hype Voice. I know it's coming. Buy here, pay here.
Yeah.
Get your mattress.
I have been on vacation.
So let me ask you this question, Maynard, and this is, what Spudd said, and of course Spudd could chime in too. But why do you think people don't care? I think I think you made the comment that people just don't care whether it be Juneteenth or, really understanding that, and you said this too about the Emancipation Proclamation was in 1863, but we always talk about 1865. I mean, there's just so much. And your rant actually was on point, man, because I say this to a lot of young people that I'm around, is that, they walk around with an iPhone, which is nothing but a digital encyclopedia that has whatever information that you want to find out, you know what I mean? And it is more than just TikTok and Snapchat, you know what I mean? So I do think you're on point, but my question is, from a psychological perspective, why is it that people don't want to know? Why is it that people don't have the thirst for knowing what Juneteenth is about? Because I would want to ask, like, okay, well, wait a minute, did this just come about? Because obviously this is something that's been in the works for years in terms of getting the holiday. You know what I mean? You just don't wake up because Joe don't have nothing to do that day and say, we're going to make this a holiday. You know what I mean? There's been a strategic campaign that was put in place that I didn't know anything about. I had to do a couple clicks and shifts and read to find out. But why don't people care, man?
I don't know. I think we lost something in, there was a moment in time when I think that Black people were involved in the struggle, and that filled our time. 50s, 60s, that filled us up. I think obviously the death of certain leaders, X and King, I think have left a void for us. I don't think anyone's been as charismatic as a speaker and charismatic as a figure for Black leadership as Malcolm X or Martin Luther King. And no smoke to the Revs, Jesse and Al Sharpton. They do their thing. I don't think that they bring that level of charisma and draw the types of excitement. Now, at the same time, Farrakhan did the Million Man March, but he did really just one. That's a big thing, and it's not necessarily his responsibility to have a Million Man March every year. Some of us got to pick up, and this is a great conversation. I was talking to a homeboy last night, and he was like, why ain't Jay-Z doing more of this? And why ain't Jay-Z doing more of that? And I was like, what the hell are you doing? You know, we have to, at some point, us, and I'm not trying to be a Jay defender, but he did the Father's Day thing. He did the Khalif Browder, he did the Water Project, he did this and that and the other thing. That's the space that he occupies. The space that you occupy is to do this, and I'm supposed to do that, and we all have to have our lane. We have to just decide, it's not just learning about Juneteenth, it's not just Black History Month, it's not just King Day or any other holiday. It's like, yo, when are we going to care about us? When are we going to care about us and not Dracos and making it clap? And, you know, we in trouble out here.
But let me go back to, because I know last week, tell me where the problem with that is. If there's a financial benefit to this generation, should we be criticizing what it is that they are doing? Because I know last week, and I'm sorry, I wasn't able to like dive into it, but I did watch it. But you were talking about, you know, strippers, and you know what I'm saying, what was the question? Are strippers the new?
Is that where the culture is, basically?
That's where the culture is.
Well, I think
that is where the culture is.
But so here's the thing, right? A long time ago, a friend of mine who was in radio in Detroit told me something about, we do all of this for 6 seconds. You know who that was, Spudd?
That would be me.
That was you. We spend a whole bunch of time courting a woman, trying to be with this woman, whatever, so that we can get that moment of truth.
6 seconds.
He's not talking about the full act. He's talking about the end of the act.
Oh, I'm like, come on, put some more time on the clock, Playboy.
Okay, Lamont.
I'm sorry.
12 seconds for you, Lamont.
No,
we got that.
Just okay.
But this is what I thought about that statement, and I think particularly for unmarried people, the most important 10, 15, 20, 30 seconds in a child's life is that immediate response from the man when the girl says, I'm pregnant. That child's life is hanging in the balance for this next 30 seconds. What's about to happen? Because, okay, we're going to have a baby. That's one thing. I don't think that's going to create the circumstances for raising the child to the best of everyone's ability, blah, 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 blah. But okay. Oh my God, we're pregnant. Great. I'm excited. I think that gives us a greater opportunity. Or, yo, how did this happen? Or is it mine? Or whatever. All those things, that level of excitement or toxicity is in that child's life from that 30 seconds forever. And so if also what's in that child's, if our men want women that they respect, then they have to respect women and raise children who respect women. If our women want to be respected, they have to be moving respectably. And they also have to respect. Would you have a problem?
I hate to use this analogy, so don't beat me up over it. I'm just, because I know it's close to home, but where is the problem? Who's more of the problem? Would you want your daughter, if your daughter came to you and said, Dad, I admire Cardi B. Would you rather for her to admire Cardi B or Kamala Harris? Right?
Well, I think
leaving the politics out of it.
Leaving the politics out of it, I think there's
Cardi B financially, respectively, is just as popular as Kamala Harris.
Is that what we? But that's not what life is about. Making the money is great. Making money is great. You can be financially successful going around being a prostitute, or you could be financially successful selling dope, or you could be financially, but a handful of things we do recognize. Your soul is important. I'm not a religious person, but there are people who do whatever they do to make money, and they feel however they feel about that later. So there's somebody out there who's, Coolio, who I'm not a big Coolio fan, but he does Gangster's Paradise, and he's talking about praying in the street lights, right?
I thought you was gonna say, "Come on, y'all, let's take
But this whole thing is a scenario of where he's like, I'm doing this, but this is not what I want to do. And we recognize, you know, in a handful of songs by Jay, like Jay does You Must Love Me. And he's talking about, I'm looking at people who I gave this man, I sold him the crack to sell to somebody else. And that person that has it is somebody who I care about. And I'm watching them. I'm a part of their demise, but I'm financially successful. At some point, we have to say, is this, do we want clicks and views? Is that fulfilling in our life?
Yeah, but don't you think it's the old age saying of in The Godfather where they say, you know, where Michael says to Kate, you know, where Kate says, yo, presidents and, you know, senators don't have people killed. And it's like, Michael's like, shit, you're just as naive as anybody else. So, I mean, it wasn't like Kamala Harris wasn't out here flirting around with, you know, Montel Williams a couple of years ago. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm just curious to say, you know, we downplay this culture in the sense of what they communicate to the consumer, which I agree with that. But I remember Kathy Hughes said, like, y'all are out here talking about these hip hop artists, and they are just as much as entrepreneurs as anybody in a Fortune 500 company.
Sure.
And you're looking down at them.
Wait. So let me ask you, because I swear I just said this yesterday. There's no difference between Meech, T, and BMF and the Purdue family. It's the same. They are the same. They are one and the same. They except the Purdue is a little bit bigger. They're in the billions, but those boys from Southwestern Detroit were in the hundreds of millions of dollars.
Or the Pfizer company, or
it's the same thing.
Right.
Same thing.
I don't listen. I think when we start to talk about, Big Meech and Purdue Pharma, we're really not talking about people that are. We're not talking about what's truly attainable, right? Most people who sell dope never have more than $35,000 in their life. That's just the average dope dealer is just a street boy. It's just a hopper. It is what it is.
Did you say hopper like in The Wire?
Exactly.
Do they even say hoppers anymore?
Whichever. What
that pandemic.
No, it does, man.
You got that pandemic.
No.
Lamont, you are.
No, Spudd, no. Here's why that's important. Because that's where I think the disconnect, man, is sometimes, I think, because of, and it is an age thing. It is ageism, because I know you don't want to believe this, but the strippers, they do help create culture, dog. They do a lot of.
Listen, Lamont, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem that they do help create culture. What I'm suggesting is, you know, somebody was like, well, you know, Ray Charles loved this song by the Beatles. It's called Eleanor Rigby. He recorded it. Ray Charles also chose heroin. Just because somebody helps do something doesn't mean that that's the thing that we're to do. So what do we want?
Yeah, but to your point, more of our generation will say you need to strive to be more like Ray Charles than they will of Soulja Boy.
What I'm suggesting is this. Let's identify what we want, right? Let's say, what does success look like for you financially, for your family, for your spiritual well-being?
Individually or for the blacks?
Or whatever it is. And educationally, spiritually, financially, and socially, and your family. Once you make that decision, if what you want is 7 kids by 7 different women, as long as you're getting money, then you go for that. If you think that that's going to be successful, I promise you that you will look back and say, damn, I didn't raise those 7 kids very well. Right? Did they all have clothes? Yes. Is having clothes raising children? No, it's not. And so we can say it's changing, but the age-old things because I'm old, like you said, Lamont. The age-old things are the age-old things. One day you're going to look up and say, I got all the money in the world, and Spudd is a resident Christian expert. You know, he had all the money in the world. He can't get into heaven like a camel trying to go through an eye of a needle, if that's your thing. Or you could have all the money in the world and have no relationship with your family. You can have all the money in the world and not have no relationship with yourself. There are people who have all the money in the world and drink themselves to sleep or drug themselves to sleep or eat themselves into comas, diabetes, or whatever the case may be. There are people out here who don't have any money and do that as well. I'm not suggesting to having money, but the idea that because I have money and people know me and I have 1 million followers, that is happiness. And I don't think it is. I don't think it's, I think it's momentary excitement, but pretty goes away. Yeah, pretty goes away, pretty fades. God bless Cardi B. I hope that she has a great career. We talked about her 4.5 years ago when we first started doing this podcast, and I was like, I don't see it. I've seen the light. I think she's funny. I think she's moved into some spaces that, you know, are different than where I thought she started. And I'm happy for her on that. I think there's still some opportunity for her to grow in different ways, and I hope she does what she thinks is right. But selling ass and titties, that ain't gonna work when she's no longer hot selling ass and titties. I mean, we ain't, you know, Gayle King ain't releasing no new records, Lamont.
Man, ass and titties always
winner. Ass and titties is what got us all here, bro. Like that's nature. So listen, can we get to the gays really quick? Because I have a question.
Because that was the next thing on my topic of the alphabet gang. The alphabet gang.
No.
Lamont, you called them bullies a long time ago, and I wanna kind of almost agree with you, but I'm gonna let you lead this one because I'm not gonna get in trouble.
So here's my issue, bro. So I turn on the TV, I see the tweets and the Facebooks and all that about I don't even know his name. I'm not even familiar with the team, and I'm saying to myself, okay, cool. I ain't got no problem with you being gay. Like, oh, that ain't even an issue. But why is this a thing? Why are we, you know? Because here's where I am in my world of having an understanding. Because Maynard, I do agree with some of the things you said about what's important to you. But what I'm learning is that we don't have a lot of time. We think we're walking around here with a lot of time, but we don't. You know, when I'm having conversations with people about things that happened 20 years ago that I don't even remember, and they telling me what you did, I'm like, God, I'm getting older, and I'm looking, and as one of my good friends in Chicago says, is that, you know, all of us on this podcast, and probably a lot of people that are listening or watching us, have more time behind them than ahead of them in terms of life.
True.
So when you look at, like, why is this a thing? Like, if he's gay in NFL, who cares? Why are we talking about this? Why? Maynard? Spudd?
It's still homophobia out there. It's no different than, you know what I'm saying, you got some people out there who don't want to see a black person run through their neighborhood.
Well, I would say this, is in addition to kind of as an add-on to what Spudd said. And also, shout out to Paul Porter. I see he jumped on Needle. I see you, Big Paul. That's your man, right, Lamont?
Yeah, OG, real OG.
Right, true.
Music thing too. Be clear.
So what he just said is because it's a first, and it's, you know, first-ish, right? And which is true. But I think one of the things that's important to mention is that, so this Carl Nassib, who's a player in the NFL, plays for the Raiders, comes out. He knows other gay guys who are living in the closet. And he knows other gay guys in the NFL are having a difficult time reconciling their sexuality in this sport that kind of requires a alpha male persona, and that there's ridicule. I'm 1,000% sure that when I was in high school and in college and in the locker rooms, that if some dude was gay, if we talked about if somebody was gay, we gave him a hard time. more than a hard time. We probably ridiculed, teased, harassed, tortured people who were different. And for that, you know, I can say this. I know that I've participated in horrible taunting and teasing of people who were different. And I was wrong. And I'm sorry to anybody who knows that happened between me and that person. Like, oh, I said that to that person. I was wrong. And so I think a lot of people are out here like, yo, I'm having a hard time living my full life. A lot of people, whether they're gay people who are trying to live in a straight world, or if they're, I've been listening to this story online the other day, a black guy who lived his life passing for white because he was very fair. People go out and commit suicide behind this. And so,
yeah, and you know what? And man, and not to cut you off, but I will say this. I did learn about, I guess, when he said he's going to put up the money for the Trevor Project. Mm-hmm. I had never heard of that, so I Googled it, and you're right. And, you know, their contributions are going through the roof, and that's good because because I don't know, I'm not a part of this. Just like I say all the time, you know, I don't know that world is, you know. So, again, I always say these things out of wanting to have an understanding and get an education on, because I'm still going to say, with this young man, if he's a professional football player, is he take care of his business on the field? That's what I'm curious about. What the numbers looking like? You know what I'm saying? Is he, you know, is he any good? I'm not familiar with the team like that.
I don't know. I'm not a Raiders fan.
So raise your hand if you would wear a Pride Tupac shirt.
I saw that too.
Nobody raised their hand.
Nah.
I don't have a Tupac shirt.
No,
would you wear a rainbow shirt?
Don't get safe. Shirt. I wouldn't, because I don't know if that was his life choice. You know what I mean? I mean, because does the shirt represent that Tupac was a homosexual male? Is that what it's saying?
No, it's just the colors.
That
in his face.
Listen,
in his face.
I'm not wearing a Pride shirt. I'm not wearing a Pride shirt. I'm not wearing a rainbow shirt, and not because I got homophobia or I hate them or whatever. That's not my lane. I think everybody knows that I don't have a black lives.
If your friend came to you, if I said, Maynard, tonight we're going down, honey's all over the place. We going in there, VIP, non-stop drinks all night long. All you got to do is wear the Pride shirt.
He's putting it on.
Going?
He's putting it on.
All you got to do is wear the Pride shirt. Honey's all over the place. Free Johnny Walker Blue all night.
Oh.
Look at Maynard.
Wait a minute. Listen, it wouldn't take all of that. I would wear the Pride shirt in a scenario where he was like, this is a cause. Are you involved with this cause? If I felt so inclined, I would do that. But like, that's not my own personal statement. I don't have a Black Lives Matter shirt. My statements are mine, and I go with how I go, right? There's a lane for me to fill. And I promise you, as much as I'm still breaking myself out of some of the stupidity of my previous alpha maleisms, if you will. If two people are gay and they want to be married or they want to be gay, that's their business, and I love that for them. Sure. And I think it's wrong that somebody decides that, like Matt Galloway so many years ago and was in Wyoming and Laramie, that they murdered that boy because he was gay. And if my daughter said, Daddy, I want to be gay, or I have a female lover when she's reached that time, that's my daughter. I don't care. I love her, and if that person loves her back, that's all that counts. And nobody gets to put their hands on my child, even when she's 55 years of age, if I'm still alive, because she's loving somebody differently. So I support people who are gay. I'm not going out and rocking the flag. That's not my part. My part is to just say, yo, leave them people alone.
But you see that? Mammy. That was a good tap dance, Playboy. And I'm with you. And I think, honestly, everything that you said is very true. But the manner in which you delivered it, it was kind of soft shoe, blackface, ragtime kind of. You know what I mean? But I'm with you, brother.
I want to get to two things before we go. So, TPain said that he was in depression because Usher said that he killed the music business with the auto-tune. So, Lamont, did TPain kill the music business or hurt the music business, R&B with the auto-tune?
No,
because that would have been Jennifer Lopez before TPain.
No, I think auto-tune was, you know, and Maynard is more of a historian, even though I'm pretty good with the music space, is that could we not say that the voice box per se was an auto-tune device, Maynard?
Sure.
So that was Roger and Zapp, what was that, 80s, late 70s?
Peter Frampton was rocking that joint in the 70s.
I was getting ready to go back some more. That's what I'm saying. We can go back in time. You know, this is not a new thing, you know, so to put that on the shoulders of that man who, you know, who made a lot of good records, man. He employed a lot of people. I think if anything TPain should have been depressed about is
that he had $15 million and he couldn't buy Burger King?
His spending. That's probably where, you know, personal life choices, like what Maynard said earlier about, you know, what's important. You know what I mean? Like getting a Lamborghini, whatever the name of it is. That's, you know, that's Greg Baker talk. Because he knows all the names I don't know. Of all of those different cars and living like that, you know, that's the issue. You know what I'm saying? So, no, that man is fine, and you can't put that on his shoulders. So Usher was a little out of pocket. I think, you know, just like everybody else, you got to be careful because Usher had his own little issues. You know what I'm saying? Personal and professional.
Hold on, I don't know if Usher's issues are over, but that's a whole other thing.
Right.
But I think TPain might be projecting onto that statement, and that certainly is a whack statement from Usher. But I think also what TPain has to recognize is like, yo, the music changed on you, homie. Yes. And you didn't change with it as a producer. You had, you know, and there were some people who were stepping up to take your space. Right across town, Khaled was like, I'm going to get this. And that's what happened. So he had to change. So I think a lot of his depression, while he may blame it on the statement, and the statement is whack, is the realization that he ain't hot no more as a producer, right? Not the TPain hot that was
right.
Nappy Boy and Pretty Boy and all the stuff that was going on, you know, 10 years back, whatever the case may be.
Right. And then before we go, so man, talk about this For the People bill and why it's not going to get passed in the Senate.
So, I think,
and what's its relevance to us?
Well,
or as Lamont would say, it's a nothing burp.
No, it's a big deal. So what we have to recognize is that all around the country there are states that have Republican-led governments that are doing things that are these kind of secretly oppressive moves to squelch voting, particularly for young people, African Americans, and people of color of other ethnicities, basically non-white men. And so what HR 1 is a way for us to federalize a certain level of rules. For instance, let's make a presidential election, let's make that a national holiday. You know, your job is not required to let you just be off on voting day. And that doesn't bother me, right? You know, I'm salaried. I go when I want to go. No big deal. I make my own rules. But somebody, and I go to a polling place. I'm in there for 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. One time I was in there for maybe 40 minutes. But somehow in Harris County in Texas, somehow in parts of Georgia, somehow in Florida, particularly where African Americans go to vote, the wait can be 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. That's a whole day of work missed. And while we still, this is why the minimum wage bill is also important as well, and saying that we're going to give people time off, while somebody is saying, if I don't go to work, I don't get those 8 hours times now $7 and some change. That's a big deal to some people, right? That's part of that. That's a whole day's worth of work. So that's one. We need to be able to have it be a holiday, a national holiday. Also, that we, how do these places? So in the previous Voting Rights Act, certain states were on something called pre-clearance. I'm going to try to make this as quick as possible, which meant that because they had disenfranchised voting historically for African Americans, and they were particularly southern states for the most part, and they had a history of disenfranchising African Americans from voting, the federal government said, here are the rules for voting, and before you make a change to this, you got to submit your new rules to us so we can decide whether or not that's constitutional or not. So that expired, and Democrats have been trying to have that reinstated, but since it's expired, some of these states are out here like, you know what we're going to do? There's no longer going to be a polling place in this community. We could just do that. You know what else we're going to do? This polling place doesn't have to be open the same hours as other polling places. We're going to make this polling place open from 6 in the morning to 7 in the morning. But over in this other neighborhood, we're going to make the polling place open from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. And so we understand there's some inherent unfairness there. And so that's part of what H.R. 1 and for the People is about. The Democrats are trying to push it through. The problem that we have to recognize is that 50 plus 1 is not a big enough majority, right? It's not what we call filibuster proof. You need a supermajority to do this. So we need 60 votes. We don't have 60 Democrats, or do we have at least 10 Republicans who honor people and think that we're no longer slaves and that we're full citizens? Anybody who's against this, in my opinion, is against African Americans and other non-white men having a fair share and a fair say in how our government operates.
Can I ask a stupid question before we go? I know the answer, but I just for the sake of my own controversial, ignorant mind, right? So I'm binging Godfather of Harlem, and season 2, and there is an episode. The episode that I watched yesterday was about Adam Clayton Powell and Senator McCarran, and they're basically trying to get Senator McCarran to, I guess, invoke civil rights in the state of Arkansas. And Senator McCarran is like, no, this is what my people like. This is what they're about. They're not ready for segregation and
desegregation.
Desegregation, thank you. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to stand with my constituents. And Adam Clayton Powell is with Senator Clyde Powell. He's like, well, you got to move with the time, with the blacks, basically. And he's like, no, we're not ready to move with the blacks. And it just made me curious to know, or to ask, can we respect people who are fighting for their own people the same way we're fighting for ours?
No.
I totally disagree with Maynard. Because
so if a white man says, I'm a racist, I want to be a racist, I'm fine with being a racist, I'm not going to mess with you, but I want white power just as much as you want black power. Now, the problem I have when it comes to like the KKK and so forth and so on is that you're trying to take that power away, or you think that we're trying to take that power away from you and you're trying to like defend it in against us. That's my issue. But I'm sorry, go ahead, Lamont.
No, I was just going to say this, and this is really what I believe, is that what I believe to be the truth is not everyone else's truth. We laugh and we joke about chitlins or red beans and rice and things of that nature, where some people really enjoy that. That is their truth. You know what I mean? So I think there's a way of trying to find some sort of happy medium to have an understanding that you're right. There are going to be racist people in this country, in this world. I think the thing is when that racism is used to determine certain outcomes and they're put over other people's lives, that's where the issue comes in. You see what I'm saying? But I just feel like that's just what it is, because Maynard was right. That governor of Texas, the governor of Georgia, and that governor of Florida, they're going to be what they are. No matter how much marching and bill writing and law passing and, money-making Mitch is going to be money-making Mitch until he dies.
Because didn't Abbott just sign the bill that they did not want to talk about racism in the schools?
That's right.
Like, saying, now to me that's foul. But,
so here's
the questions where you're like, well, if this is what the constituents of the people of Texas want, are they wrong for right?
Well, here's the thing. We understand that. Look, none of us and none of our ancestors had a say when them folks decided to say all men are created equal. We didn't make them say that. They said they put that shit in there, right? That's supposed to be what America's about. We didn't have a say when they said life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We didn't say that. We didn't have a say in any of that. They put it there. All I'm saying is change it and say, no, we mean life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness only for white people, and only white people this or only white people that. And that way I can say, okay, I understand what America is. Now I can govern myself accordingly.
Yeah, but we already know what America is.
Wait a minute.
They didn't even
Wait a minute.
In the beginning.
Wait a minute.
Now, we were people then.
Okay, but
when they wrote that, we were not included.
Right. So here, this is what's happened. Since then, the laws have changed. The words still have meaning. This is English that they're speaking. They're not speaking Spanish. They're not speaking blah, blah, blah. This is what you say. You are telling me that freedom and liberty and justice is for all and it's important. Then fucking make it important. Or say it's not important. And then let me do what I need to go do. But you can't say that I want to be governor or I want to be senator, I want to be city council member, I want to be the sheriff, and I don't believe that Spudd has rights. I believe that so-and-so, this white man here, has more rights than this black man above me. That's not how it works. Now, if that's what you want to do, write it on a piece of paper, pass that as a law, and then we all understand where we are. But as long as you keep saying that Maynard, your house on this block has to pay this amount of tax to support the schools, to support the fire department, the police department, and we also take tax out of your paycheck, and we also tax if you want to go to the damn airport and use the plane and blah, 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 all that stuff. If that's what's happening, and we all are doing this, we all are supposed to have it. Now, if you the governor, the senator, whatever, you supposed to be supporting, you swear an oath to the Constitution, which says these things. We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men are created equal. And they only know rights given to us by God, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, no, I don't respect that.
Let me just ask you this too. I'm sorry. Do we need to go?
Keep it
no, because we haven't talked about Beyonce and Trick Daddy, so I'm really offended.
I'm sorry.
That we're having.
So let's wrap this up. I mean, we could talk about for a whole month. Okay. Let me just ask you this first, man. When you look at these senators and these governors who are saying, I don't want to pass where we're talking about racial situation, education in our school systems. What is that saying?
That's saying that what they don't want to have is their delicate, that white fragility is a thing. That the truth is so harmful. Somebody once said this. they've been oppressing black people so long. They've been oppressing Hispanics in this country. They've been oppressing gay people. They've been oppressing Jewish people. They've been oppressing all these different people so long that all of a sudden, when we get equal rights, it feels like it ain't fair to them. What do you mean this black man get to sit at the table too? What? They feed black people here? What the hell kind of shit is that? It feels unnatural and unreal to them. Like, I can't believe they actually allow black people to vote. That's crazy. We know it was said in so many words when Donald Trump said a lot of bad things are happening in Philadelphia, the largest black population in the state of Pennsylvania. Detroit, a lot of bad things are happening with those votes in Detroit. Largest black population in the state of Michigan. A lot of bad things are happening down there in Atlanta to vote. Because black people aren't supposed to have the right to vote, according to these people. And so what we have to recognize is when they say they don't want critical race theory talk, they don't want to know the truth about this, Juneteenth, that's a lie, we don't want that. They don't want the white fragility to be upset when you call people out on their shit. A lot of times, look, we calling you out because it's wrong. Don't mean that you can't improve, but why should I improve? I just want it my way. I want to be able to go out to the woods and grab your wife and have sex with her and then go and chase you in the woods and kill you and lynch you and beat up on you. And they want...
Is that the other white meat?
Yeah, I was about to say.
There are people out here, I promise you, if somebody put a bill, I promise you there are a whole bunch of people in the Senate, in the Congress, that if they put a bill on the floor, somebody came up with had enough guts to put a bill on the floor to say, we're going to have a Back to Africa movement. Any black person that's got a record of selling drugs or anything, we're just going to deport them back to Africa. I bet you there'd be a whole bunch of white people in the country, but a whole bunch of white people in the Senate and the Congress that'll be like, I want to vote for that. I want to vote for that, but
I'm like, wait, when do I check? Yeah, no, I'm just kidding. No, I feel you on that, and I think that what's unfortunate about the language is that it is always what's the Nixon boy that was like you can't use you can't say blacks anymore, you can't say Negro anymore, so you have to say it this way in order for us to be able to get it passed because. You just can't use the language and be blatant anymore, But yeah, I mean, it would be nice for somebody to say, actually it wouldn't be, but I wouldn't want for somebody to be like, yo, blacks can't eat here, because I agree. I think there will be a lot of people like, you know what? I really don't want for blacks to eat at
But they're working that whole, don't make no mistake about that gay situation where the people don't want to make the cakes for the gay couple and it's against their religious beliefs. That's just a trial balloon for say, okay, religiously we don't like gays and we got that passed. Religiously, it's against my religion to serve black people. That's where they're going with that. Don't make no mistake.
All right, let's get to Trick Daddy and then we out.
Trick Daddy was wrong. That's all I got to say.
I mean, the only reason why I didn't even bring it up is because, do we even bring that up? But
again, to me, it's no different than, and again, I could get in trouble. It's almost like the gay NFL guy, in my opinion. Who cares? And even with Trick Daddy, if that's your opinion, shut up.
Let's just today. So Trick Daddy says Beyonce can't sing and Jay-Z is not the best rapper alive. Beyonce sings. I don't say she's the most amazing voice ever. But
I agree. I mean, I don't think that she can sing.
She can sing.
No question about it.
But here's the real answer. And Jay may not be the greatest rapper alive.
Patti LaBelle singing, but
that may be true.
But
Trick, you're not even in the conversation. Right. Is Trick in the top 50 rappers of all time? Is he in the top 125 of all time?
What this world's going.
I love that song though.
Trick, you're not in this conversation, my dude. You know who we talking about? We talking about Lamonte shooting that LeBron James jump shot. You're not in the conversation, Trick. Just You need to hold that back. In fact,
but here's the sad part about what you just said, Maynard, is that he is in the conversation because we're talking about it, and people at large.
No, Lamont wants to talk about it
to the forefront as if that was even
a thing.
Like, Trick Daddy, who asked you?
Hold on, and here's the other thing.
Asked you.
Is there? Am I wrong? Is there a Beyonce record out right now? Is there a Beyonce project?
Hey, but here's the thing. What if Beyonce called Trick and said, listen, I need you to do me a favor.
You'll be on the next plane.
Yeah, I'm going to run you a check. I need you to talk real slick about me. What Trick going to say? Okay.
First of all, Beyonce's not doing that.
And second of all, can he perform at Shane Park still or yet?
Wow, I forgot about that.
And more Rick Ross.
So, Trick, I'm going to need you just to hold your smoke until you get a pass in the 313. If you can't do that.
And Maynard, you have to properly call it the Aretha. It's no longer Shane Park.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever going to get a pass. It doesn't matter how many records he sells.
I don't think that Trick can come up in the 215 behind Beans. So, Trick, you got one record.
It's like, listen, man. First of all, Beyonce sold how many records? And Jay-Z sold how many records? And maybe, you know what I'm saying, in your opinion, Jay-Z may not be the greatest of all time. That is fine, you know, but that is what it is. I mean, I don't like Kevin Hart. I'm not a Kevin Hart fan. You know, I don't pay to go see Kevin Hart movies, and I'm not going to pay for him to go. And I don't think he's funny. But his last rant was, look at the numbers. You are funny to people, and you have some funny moments. I personally just don't, that's just me. But again, that would be, Trick Daddy is the equivalent of me going and being on the blogs talking about Kevin Hart isn't funny. You're a non-factor.
Doesn't Trick Daddy have like a few baby mamas?
I don't know.
I think he. Okay.
All I can say is,
first of all, Trick Daddy, you're loving hip hop.
right. You one step away from being on Dancing with the Stars.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't even get on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah,
like, you're loving hip hop. Like,
Trick has.
You're not even a factor on loving hip hop. Like, I respect what you've done and respect what you got going on in the, you know what I'm saying, in the what's the name? I know we're way over, but just triggered in my mind. So the Migos is on the Mount Rushmore of Atlanta hip hop?
Of Atlanta hip hop. Ooh. Who's on the Mount Rushmore of Atlanta hip hop? Obviously Jeezy, T.I., Chris.
Oh.
Whoa. We gotta go back a little bit.
You gotta go back.
Oh, you're
Outkast gotta be first.
Okay, Outkast. I don't have a problem with Outkast being.
Gotta be first.
I don't need.
Yeah, that's primary. Yeah.
Okay, Outkast primary. Jeezy.
I mean, man, hold up, man. You moving too fast.
Jeezy's like one of those people where it's like, do we got anybody else?
Right. You feel what
all right, Tip.
Hold on, man. Hold up.
We gotta go back first.
Okay, let's go back. Give them to me, because I don't know.
Outkast, we all agree.
Outkast.
Goody Mob?
Nah.
Dungeon Family. That's not even.
I think if you put them up there together, we can make that work. And I don't want to. You all gonna be mad at me, but you got to put Soulja Boy up there. I don't like Soulja Boy like that, but Soulja Boy, over time, pre, post, and post after.
We have to fight it out with him and Jeezy.
Okay, so wait. Can we go to? Y'all gonna laugh at me again? Shadi?
No. No MC Shadi. Yeah. Luda or no?
Luda, yes.
Yeah, you gotta put him up.
Luda's up there. Lil Jon.
Yeah.
Lil Jon gotta go. He changed the whole.
Yeah.
He changed the whole game.
Yeah.
of Atlanta. Without Lil Jon, there would be no crunk.
Yes.
Okay.
You're right.
There's no Atlanta party record.
Okay. What's the
Lil
next
Jon.
person?
The next
Hey,
person
you
I would
just said
say
Goody
would have
Mob,
to
right?
be Tip.
You said Goody Mob, right?
I said Tip.
Yeah, I'm gonna think with Goody Mob.
I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know if Goody Mob makes it.
How many people going on Mount Rushmore?
I think you're supposed to get 5. That's what I'm saying.
Well, let's just go with a solid 5, and groups are 1, right? So Outkast is not 2.
Outkast for sure.
Outkast.
Lil Jon, Luda.
3.
You got to put Soulja Boy, man. You can't front that little kid, man.
Tip.
I don't know. You keep throwing I don't know, man. I don't know.
T.I. did bring the trap into existence. Without T.I., there wouldn't really be any trap music. T.I. swung the pendulum from crunk music into trap music.
Okay. I'm easily swayed.
Oh. All right, Frank brought Jermaine Dupri to the table.
Jermaine Dupri has to go up.
He has to. Jermaine Dupri actually goes.
No, I just he's an art. Okay.
But Jermaine Dupri goes up actually before Outkast.
Nigga, stop.
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, because
Jermaine Dupri.
he's touched too many different things.
He revolutionized Atlanta hip hop.
Without
Jermaine Dupri, there is no Atlanta.
There's no So Def is where
there is no. That's the first record label you can even think. You could go to Freaknik and see the So Def billboard, and that's in the '90s. So you gotta give Jermaine Dupri. So
I'm offended. Do I get my Soulja Boy or no?
I don't think so.
I'm really. Soulja Boy might go on the Mount Rushmore of the internet.
Yeah.
He was Atlanta, man. He had them little kids, dog. He had them.
Before I would put Soulja Boy up, look, if there was a 6th position out of Atlanta before Soulja Boy, and I'm not saying anyone else,
was the top 10 of that.
I would not say anyone else before Soulja Boy. I'd put Bow Wow up before Soulja Boy.
No.
Yeah.
I agree with Lamont. Soulja Boy changed the younger generation in the culture. When we die and my son is talking about who's on Mount Rushmore, he'll put Soulja Boy up. But for us, those are the top 5. So Migos,
they ain't got enough time on the clock yet, man.
Not yet. And Michael Bennett, Gucci Man,
no,
not on the Mount Rushmore.
No, sir.
Future, not on the Mount Rushmore.
No, sir.
No, but not on the Mount Rushmore. Dallas Austin Ty. I don't know if Dallas Austin's in the Mount Rushmore hip hop.
Hip hop. Yeah, he got more R&B records under his belt.
Yeah, I don't know about that. And I don't see Dallas Austin. I mean, he's definitely deserving. I mean, but I don't really necessarily know if he's like
not hip hop. If there was a producer scenario,
even period, like
I would be like,
you don't see him on a record like you see Jermaine Dupri. Right.
There was a moment though where Jazzy Faye was on everything out of Atlanta.
Jazzy Fizzle is a no. That's a dizzle. All right, that's a fizzle. That is. I meaning for that one. I like Jazzy Faye.
Fizzle.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you so very much for staying over with us. We truly appreciate you joining us for this episode of 3 Black Guys with the Mic.
Yo, let me say.
Can I ask a question? Are we ever going to migrate to Instagram? I was in LA, I was in San Francisco, I was in Vegas. And everyone said, "Oh, you have a podcast? What's your Instagram? Are you on Instagram?" No one said Facebook. No one.
Hey man,
If
somebody can show me how to do it. I'm with it.
Instagram, so that way we can grow this platform, because this Facebook is telling our age.
Okay, so let me say this real quick then. Let's shout out Patrice. I see Ty. I ain't seen Ty Mopkins in a minute on the podcast.
Oh, he's getting ready to go up too. We gotta maybe get.
I've been telling Ty, listen, I was watching Jacoby and Jalen and Jacoby, when I was in Vegas, and I was just looking at that, and I sent Ty a picture. I was like, Ty, You just as smart as these guys. Ty knows just as much about sports, about hip hop, about fashion, about the culture than any of those guys on ESPN.
But Ty's wrong about Bill Russell. He already knows what that conversation is. We got.
I thought I saw a poster he put up saying he was going up, that he was starting. No.
I mean, I've been trying to get Ty to go up for 3 years, man. Ty too busy. He got starter jackets. He got new clothing line. It's a lot of money out there in the streets.
Hey, man, Ty Mopkins posted a picture of some old school Rockports. I got online and saw how much the Rockports are in 2021. I said, I'm going to have to wait. You know what I mean? He just, but then I did go.
Rockports was the shoes when I moved here.
What?
That and the Kohan.
What? Anyway, all right. What else you got, man?
Shorty the Bar Price, Lakeisha said new listener, new subscriber on YouTube, loves the conversation. Frank 48 Rock, my man Mike Barnett, shout out to him. My sister Miss Kimberly Spence giving me some love, I appreciate that. Quantavious, we're gonna get that taken care of for you. Paul, appreciate you checking in on us. Patrice Chantel on Needle. Just, Spudd, your man Wadsworth, he was looking for you last week. Just shout out to everybody else who's on. These are the people who've commented that I can see. I don't know. James Gray. Yo, it's too soon to talk about the Sixers. I'm not prepared to have that conversation. Just.
Did they lose?
Yeah, they out there. Bad.
So
it was bad.
Did Brooklyn lose too?
Yeah.
Okay, so Milwaukee is in. Atlanta's in.
Milwaukee, Atlanta from the east, and Phoenix and the Clip Joint from the west.
I'm praying for Milwaukee, brother. I'm praying for the Mill, for the M-Town.
Them boys put a hurting on them boys in Brooklyn. I was like, yo, Brooklyn, what?
That's what I'm going.
Like, yo, James Harden, you need to get the new hairdo. Maybe that might.
Nah, that would be Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant just needs a haircut. But
no, he needs a relaxer, my dude.
James Harden. Kevin Durant needs to go.
He needs to relax.
Not a relaxer. Kevin Durant should probably ball with a little wave
James
cap
Harden,
on.
you need a stylist, homie. You need a weekly stylist. You guys have a fantastic week. We truly appreciate it. We'll get with you on Monday. Only reason why we're here on Tuesday is because Lamont and I were traveling, or Lamont was trying to travel, home. So, God willing, we'll all be here on Monday at 7 p.m. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And hopefully, we will be on Instagram. It's just a push of a button. But might don't want to do it. All right, y'all, we holla.
Peace.